I used to think being alone at home meant peace, silence, control. I thought it meant I could breathe without being watched. I learned too late that silence isn't empty. Sometimes it's listening. The first night it happened, I was home alone because my parents had gone to a wedding in another city. They said they'd be back by morning. I believed them. I locked the doors after they left, checked the windows twice, and turned on every light like that would somehow scare the dark away. The house felt bigger without them, like the walls had stretched the moment the car disappeared down the street. I tried to distract myself. TV on, phone in hand, snacks on the table. But the silence between sounds felt heavy, like something was pressing its ear against the walls, waiting for the right moment to move. Around 10:40 p.m., the power flickered. Not out, just a blink. Enough to reset the TV and leave me staring at my own reflection in the black screen. I laughed nervously and told myself it was normal. Old wiring. Storm clouds somewhere far away. Then I heard the footsteps upstairs. Slow. Careful. One step at a time. I froze. My parents' bedroom was upstairs. The guest room, too. No one else should have been there. I muted my phone and listened. The footsteps stopped. I waited for the sound of someone speaking. For a cough. For anything human. Nothing. I grabbed the kitchen knife. My hands were shaking so badly the metal rattled against the counter. I whispered hello, knowing how stupid it sounded. The word vanished into the house like it had been swallowed. Then the footsteps started again, this time closer to the stairs. I didn't run. I don't know why. Fear glued me to the floor. Each step creaked like it was being taken on purpose, slow enough to let me imagine the shape of whoever was coming down. When the last step creaked, the hallway light upstairs turned on. I screamed and bolted out the front door without even locking it behind me. I ran barefoot into the street and didn't stop until my lungs burned. When neighbors came out, when the police arrived, they searched the house. They found nothing. No forced entry. No signs of anyone else. But when I went back inside the next morning, every upstairs door was open. Every single one. And on my bedroom mirror, written from the inside, were the words, "I waited until you left." I moved out 2 weeks later. The house sold fast. The second story started in an apartment so small I could touch both walls if I stretched my arms out. I lived alone. Always had. I liked it that way. No noise. No rules. No surprises. That night, I fell asleep on the couch with the TV still on. I woke up around 2:17 a.m. because the TV volume dropped suddenly, like someone had pressed a button. The remote was on the table, face down. I sat up slowly, heart pounding. My phone buzzed in my hand. A message from an unknown number. "Why are you sleeping out there?" I didn't reply. I checked the locks. Door locked. Chain on. Windows closed. Curtains drawn. Another message. "You look uncomfortable." I typed back, hands trembling. "Who is this?" The typing bubbles appeared instantly. "I'm already inside." The lights in the hallway flicked on. I ran into the bathroom and locked the door, heart slamming so hard I thought I'd pass out. I called the police, whispering into the phone while staring at the door handle like it might turn any second. I heard breathing outside the bathroom door. Slow. Wet. Right against the wood. The operator kept asking questions. I couldn't answer. The breathing stopped. Then the voice came through the door, soft and calm. "You shouldn't lock me out." The door handle rattled violently. I screamed until my throat burned. The police arrived minutes later and broke the door down. No one was there, but my bathroom mirror had fingerprints on the inside. And my phone gallery had a photo I never took. It was me, sleeping on the couch, taken from inside the apartment. I moved the next day. The third story is the one that still wakes me up at night. I was 16, home alone for the first time overnight. My parents trusted me. I wanted to prove I could handle it. I locked everything, checked twice, triple-checked even. At midnight, I heard my mom's voice calling my name from the kitchen. I answered without thinking. "Mom." Silence. I stood at the top of the stairs, heart racing. I told myself it was exhaustion, memory playing tricks. Then I heard it again. My name.
Clear.
Familiar.
Wrong.
It sounded like her voice, but flatter. Like someone repeating a recording they didn't understand. I stayed upstairs. I didn't go down. I remembered something my dad once said jokingly. If you hear us calling when we aren't home, don't answer. The voice grew angry. It started yelling my name. Pounding followed. Heavy footsteps running through the house below me.
Drawers slamming.
Cabinets crashing open. I locked my bedroom door and hid in the closet. The voice came upstairs. It stopped outside my door. It whispered my name in my mother's voice, slow and careful. I know you're awake. The door handle turned slowly. I pressed my hand over my mouth to stop myself from making a sound. Then the voice changed. It dropped the act. You shouldn't ignore me. The scratching started. Long nails dragging down the door. Over and over.
Slow.
Patient. Then silence. I stayed in the closet until morning. When my parents came home, the house was destroyed. Every cabinet open. Furniture moved. Doors scratched deep enough to leave splinters. But the front door was still locked. No windows broken. Nothing missing. Except one thing. On my bedroom door, carved deep into the wood, were the words, "Next time, answer." I'm older now. I don't stay alone anymore. Not really. Even when I'm by myself, I feel watched. I sleep with lights on. I keep noise playing constantly. Because I learned something that night. Being alone at home doesn't mean you're alone. Sometimes it just means whatever is watching finally has privacy. What people don't understand about being alone is that the house notices it before you do. The walls seem to breathe differently. The air changes weight. Sounds that once blended into the background suddenly stand out, sharp and deliberate, like they want to be heard. After everything that happened, I stopped trusting silence. Silence felt staged, like a pause before something rehearsed its next move. I started keeping lights on, even during the day. Darkness had learned my habits too well. One night, while sitting alone in my living room, I heard a chair scrape across the floor above me. I didn't live in a building with multiple floors. There was no upstairs. My ceiling fan slowed on its own, blades creaking like tired bones. I counted my breaths, waiting for the sound to stop. It didn't. The scraping turned into pacing. Slow circles. Back and forth. As if something was measuring the room, memorizing its shape. I stayed completely still, afraid that movement would confirm I was aware. Then came the knock. Not at the door. From inside the wall beside me. 3 slow taps. I pressed my ear against the surface, heart pounding so hard it drowned out my thoughts. The wall felt warm. Too warm. Like skin holding heat. A whisper followed, muffled and close, saying something I couldn't fully hear. Not words exactly, more like the shape of speech without meaning. My name was never spoken, but I knew it was meant for me. I fled that apartment before sunrise, leaving everything behind.
Clothes.
Furniture. Memories. None of it felt worth carrying. Even now, in places filled with people, I sometimes feel that same presence. Watching. Waiting for privacy. Because that's what it wants most. Not darkness. Not silence. Just a moment when it knows no one else is around to hear you scream. And the worst part? Every time I think I'm safe, I remember something chilling. It never chased me. It never rushed. Whatever it was had all the time in the world. Even now, I hesitate before closing any door. A closed door feels like an invitation, not protection. I've learned to sleep lightly, waking at the smallest shift in air, the quietest creak beneath the floor. Sometimes I hear movement just outside my room, the careful sound of something avoiding notice. When I hold my
breath, it does the same.
That's when I know it's still there, not inside the house, but close enough to remember me. Waiting for the night, I finally believe I'm alone again. I don't check behind me anymore. I've learned that looking only confirms what already knows I'm aware. Some nights, the silence feels deliberate, like something is holding its breath with me. When morning comes, I feel relief but also disappointment, as if whatever was waiting simply decided to try again tomorrow.